Good morning, everybody. You are tuned to Computers 2K Now on the Nissan Communications Network. I'm Emnon, your host for the next couple of hours, along with Mr. Nick. Good morning.
Hi, good morning. How are you?
And Spence is here.
Was that a nightmare you had last night?
Leave me alone.
Yeah.
Morning, Spence.
Good morning.
And Gal is here.
Good morning.
And
Sameach.
Chag Sameach. And I was going to say Happy Easter and Happy Passover, everybody.
Yes, sir. Happy Easter and happy Passover to you.
Thank you very much. Our
What
number
he
is
said.
919.
I said what he said.
Oh, okay.
I said
All right.
happy.
Our number is 919-518-9773. Computers 2K Voice on Skype. And today's show is made possible by vMix Software, Telestream's Wirecast software, and is sponsored by Tom Sinclair of Live Streaming Gear.
It's also made possible by the Van Allen belt, because without it, we'd all be burned to a crisp.
Okay.
Well, I mean, let's put it in perspective.
I'll
So,
tell you, in a world of craziness,
yeah.
Computers 2K Now is about the only normal thing in my life. and you know, when the Sunday morning video show you do with random people from the internet is the most normal thing in your life, you know that society has
it's pretty
crumbled to beyond the hope.
So tell me, in what phase of stages of grief are you?
I can't. We can. You sound like you're on a webcam, Mike.
I
Yeah,
think
guy.
your mic is not going through your headset.
Oh, there you go. Now I can hear you.
No, I am through the headset. Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
In what stage of what?
In what stage of the 5 stages of grief are you at?
I'm not in
Sounds
any
like you've
grief.
passed. Sounds like you've passed a denial. You're either in anger or bargaining now.
I'm pretty pissed. I'll tell you that. I mean, I'd say anger is probably pretty accurate.
Anger's it, yeah.
The biggest problem is that the next step is depression. So
Well, I mean, if you're see, here's the key though. If you're always depressed, the 5th stage of depression it doesn't hit. No, I mean, I think like everybody else, you're just, I don't like being told what to do.
Gal, did you say anger or hunger?
anger.
Oh.
But hunger can go together with anger.
That's the 6th stage that some people deal with.
Oh,
Are starting to do some really weird stuff
That makes perfect
online, and just you're seeing stories come up about people losing their cool.
Oh, that's nothing new.
I had it out at the store with somebody yesterday. It's just annoying. That's all.
Well, Nick, when you were trying on all those clothes in the store, that wasn't appropriate.
Well, I mean, hell, I needed to look good for my date.
But a garter?
I needed to look good for my Zoom date.
It's when you took your pants off to try on the shorts. That's when they objected.
Well, they closed the changing room. What else was I supposed to do?
Did you see the image of the guy shopping with the pool noodles out of his ass?
Yes, I did see that.
I know what Nick was doing yesterday though. I forgot. That's why he was so busy. He was laying all those eggs that everybody's going to look for today.
Yeah, absolutely.
You see him?
all around
Yeah,
the world.
it's a big job. Come on, you can't just those eggs don't just appear from nowhere.
No, I mean
And
that's weeks and weeks of a very
yeah.
regimented diet to make those eggs come out in perfect form. Sorry.
So let's start the techie part of it. And this is a story from last week. It says the track phone wireless is facing a potential 6 million fine for allegedly defrauding the government program that provides discount telecom service to poor people. The Federal Communication Commission proposed the fine against TracFone last week, 2 weeks ago, saying the prepaid wireless provider obtained FCC lifeline funding by enrolling fictitious subscriber accounts. TracFone improperly sought and received more than 1 million from Lifeline, the FCC said. Sounds like something that happens every 4 years in November with certain party, doesn't it?
Sounds like the FCC needs to go in there and shut down TracFone.
Well, I doubt this will happen, but
Well, they should go in there and force an auction, sell it off to somebody else. I mean,
Didn't
take-
they
I'll
just
take-
make? They just started running new ads.
yeah, they did.
Yeah, with the now that they're expanding their network, whatever it is they're doing, they expand. Is that what this controversy is?
No, this controversy is that they're raping the government.
Yeah.
They're saying that all these people are using the government the government, which is
Oh,
retarded
okay. Right,
government
okay.
subsidizes cell phones for low income individuals, and TracFone was
Yeah.
saying, oh, we had 60 million low income individuals, and they really only had 20 or something like that.
Right.
FCC should go in there and
That's-
shut them down.
That's just commerce.
well, I mean, they took it's fine. They took 1 million. Now they're going to be fined 6 million. Hopefully that will work actually, and it's not just a lot of talk. And that may be a good lesson. But yeah, it's ridiculous.
Speaking of ridiculous,
Uh-oh.
I had an interesting story this week. So, got a call from a customer of ours on Thursday. Says, "Hey, my trying to do a Zoom, and my webcam's not working." So I jump on the guy's computer. I'm tweaking around, and I see the camera's there, but something looks off. So I play around. I install some different software. I update the drivers. I uninstall the device. I have him reboot the computer. There's a freaking privacy screen in front of it the entire time, and the guy didn't flip the switch back. So after 40 minutes of dicking around with this webcam, he's like, "Oh, what's this button do?" Oh, there was a slide over it, and I was like, "Dude, that was the first thing I asked you." I was like, "Is there anything in front of the webcam?" Nope, not at all. So
Yeah.
be aware that when you're dealing with people on Zoom, which a lot more people are using, a lot of newer laptops with webcams come with built-in shutter, and they're not all obvious. This one was very discreet. It was just a little button. It wasn't like a full like a sliding door. It was just a tiny little button that turned the webcam off. So be aware. PSA to all. Learn from Nick's mistakes. Never
Yeah.
trust the customer. That's what I learned.
I mean, it's a good idea. I mean, we've been putting stickers over the camera.
Yeah,
So
well,
you
it's a good
always
idea,
see
but
it.
if you
Yeah.
make it too discreet,
Right, too discreet is stupid.
yeah, like the older ones I've seen are like literal, like they have like a little thing on them and you slide it
Mhm.
left and right. This one is this is like a soft button. It turns the camera on and off. So the
One of the
camera's
first-
you're not actually sliding something in front of the camera. You're killing the input to it.
I'd
I
rather
wonder
have
if-
a physical thing come in front of it.
So would I.
I wonder if the camera still has a light.
It doesn't turn on.
Yeah, I see.
Couldn't get it to turn on. Yeah.
Yep, that's
So one of the first things I learned when I became a repair technician. 2 questions. Did it ever work? When they call you, "Oh, I can't get it to work." Well, did it ever work? And number 2 is, when did it stop working?
Oh, I don't know.
Usually,
When
if you ask those 2 questions, you can get a pretty good idea.
I
Well,
don't
it was
know.
after I dropped it into the, into the pool. Oh, okay. Or, yeah, I just got this new thing and I've never used it before. Oh, well,
Yeah, but I kind of doubt that they will be able to tell you, oh, yeah, press this button.
Well, it's funny though, because after I was done with the guy, I looked it up online, and it was a yoga. I think it was a Lenovo Yoga, and apparently it was a common issue because I searched for the model number, the computer
Interesting.
webcam not working. And it's a very common issue because the button is so
yeah.
discreet.
And is that a configuration since it's a soft button? Is the configuration?
Well, it's not a soft button; it's a physical button.
So there is no way
But it's
to
not.
tell.
But there's no slide mechanism or anything. It
No,
just
no.
kills the webcam.
My point is there a way to configure the software to say when Windows comes up, it turns the cam on, even if it's
No,
off?
because the
So
button
it
has to be
is the
pressed.
hardware. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a thing about being way too private, and then you fall into this. I mean, you can take just everybody out there, just like a sticky note, fold it, and just put it over it.
No. This is the way. This is what I do.
Yeah, but there's one thing you're forgetting.
Yeah.
There's, the microphone is still on. The switch, when it
Yeah,
kills
that's
it,
true.
it kills
And
the microphone.
This is the best way. Oh, it's not, well, sorry, the blue is coming through, but that's a piece of blue painter's tape.
yeah, I still have a lot of I don't even right protect tabs. Remember them?
Oh, yeah.
Nick,
Yeah.
do you know what these are?
No idea. I still have no idea.
They're labels that we use in order to make a 5 1/4 diskette right
Copy this. Yeah.
right protected. There used to be a notch on the corner that made it writable. If you cover that notch, you can't write to it anymore. So every pack of discs used to come with a sheet of these things so you can write protect.
And you think about it, that design was backwards.
Well,
No, it
Should've-
wasn't backwards. It was
It's-
intentional because when you bought original software, it didn't have the notch. It was right protected.
Oh, right. Yeah. Well, it wasn't
Yeah.
good for consumers. It was good for the
Oh,
producers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And when we wanted, you remember what we did when we're fed
See?
up with the software. It's an old version. You go and cut out the the notch in order to write over it.
Yep.
You needed more diskettes.
No, I mean, in the earlier days of this, there used to be, I mean, the double-sided discs. You could take the diskette out and flip it and put it in because there was only
Right.
one writing head on one side. So, but the other side, I mean, it was not notched. So back then it was a hot item. You got a punch around. There was no square, so you got a round punch, and you punch that corner, and you could flip the disc, and now you had stuff recorded on both sides until the double sided came about.
And wasn't there a way single-sideds were really diskettes that failed one side, so they made it a single side.
That's
They
what
for a
they-
while. That was, and we used to make them into double-sided, and they would work, but one
I-
side was not certified.
I don't remember any diskette that did not work right on the other side. I remember, yeah, you're right. That's what they were saying, that it is double-sided, but it's not certifiable to work on both
Yeah.
sides. But it was kind of weird, but yeah. So anyway, we're digressing. So those stickers were great to cover the camera, and it stands out. When you look at the laptop, you see it. It's not discrete. It doesn't fade into. Of course, unless you have a black bezel.
The most discreet way to do it is to cover it with Scotch tape.
Yeah, you could do that. I mean, it's fine.
It's
You
very
could do it.
discreet.
No. I mean, look, Scotch tape, the matted, not the clear, but the matte is great because you
Oh, it
fold
fogs
it,
it over, yeah.
you fold it, and you tie, and you just stick it on top, and then you have something you can flip it open, and
Do you
nobody can
remember,
see
I
you through it.
remember from being in school when I was a kid, they had rooms that had fogged windows where they were covered with an opaque, it was built into the glass. Well, the secret was if you put clear Scotch tape on, you could look through it. It defeated the opaque glass. So that I remember that was we used to do that at the nurse's office because they had a privacy glass window and you put Scotch tape on it so you could look in.
No.
Oh well.
But some of the guys in one of the, I mean, Merle and Mike somehow came up with the Hebrew language typing. So Merle is saying Happy Passover, Chag Pesach Sameach, and Mike, I don't understand. Ata lo yetzirat. I have no idea what. I don't know. But hey, guys, very funny, very funny. 919-518-9773, Computers 2K Voice on Skype. Let's keep going here. Firefox. Twitter disclosed the bug on its platform that impacted users who accessed their platform using Firefox browsers. According to Twitter, its platform stored private. We talked about it last week. There's a fix. Everybody should update their Firefox. Many times, I mean, normally it happens automatically, but some people it doesn't happen to. So if you just go into the help and about, it'll update it. Another thing,
if you shut it down, it should update.
It should.
Should, yeah.
And
But
the
a
weird
lot of
thing,
people don't ever shut it down.
there's another problem that I saw this week. When I did the update, it said update fail. You have to restart your computer to do it. But it didn't fail because when I went to the help and checked, it was the new version and everything was fine. Everything was working. And it happens on 2 computers. So something is going on with Firefox, or it was going. Bottom line is you need to update your Firefox. And there was another thing I was going to talk about last week. I never got to it. Microsoft unveiled a consumer subscription service with added Office programs and tools to protect children and older adults. Part of an effort to shift more customers to ongoing payment plans that provide a smooth revenue stream. Microsoft 365 Personal and Family will begin rolling out April 21st at $6.99 a month for an individual and $9.99 a month for the Family Edition, which includes 6 users. That's the same price as the previous Office 365 consumer product, which have more than 37 million subscribers right now.
Does that also include a free vaccine when he develops it?
It is pretty funny how desperate's not the right word, but I'm going to use that word because I don't have a better one. How desperate Microsoft is to capitalize on SAS, software as a service.
It is, and I
Well,
wonder what it's missing. What
it's been
is
going on since before the OS days. They were
Oh, it
doing it with.
has.
It's been going on with Office and all that stuff.
But Office for older individuals. I mean, what the
They're
hell? What the
trying.
hell does
That's what.
that mean?
Yeah, it'll be next. It'll be Office for people who live on the third floor.
I mean, it's like well, first of all, Google, by the way, the reason Microsoft is probably doing this is because Google has cornered the market with Google Classroom. Everybody uses Google Classroom. Um, and with everybody using Google Classroom, they don't need Word and Excel and PowerPoint. They've got Google Docs and Sheets and Slides, I think is what the Google product is called. So Microsoft's losing out big time to especially today, because if a lot of these schools are providing these kids with Chromebooks or bottom of the barrel Windows laptops, and they're doing all their work on G Suite. They don't need to. They're not learning how to use Word like I did. They're learning how to use Google Docs and
Mhm.
and that other stuff. I learned to use Word and the Office suite. I can't imagine kids these days are. I mean, for example, we were talking with our friend Jim, um, and his son and his wife. His wife's a teacher. His son is in school. They're they're completely invested in Google Classroom. All the work they do is in browser. So Microsoft's getting shafted big time on this.
I don't know about the word
Um,
shafted. I mean,
Well, and rightfully so. They haven't embraced it.
yeah.
They have done apps. They've done nothing. All they do is offer a standalone product. Google's come in and offered a full classroom experience for schools
Mhm.
and has cut Microsoft out of it completely. And good for them.
Good for them, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not a bad thing. It's interesting to watch.
You were
Even though
saying, God?
people still call it Word, they still use it. They'll say, "Oh, I'm going to open it in Word." No, you're opening it up in Google Docs online.
It's just Word is what it's saved as.
Yeah, and that's like you Google it, Google this, Google that. It's a verb.
Yeah, it became a
Wording,
word. Yeah, I'm
Excel,
using a
PowerPointing.
Kleenex. No, you're not. You're using something else, but
I'm using great value. Can't read it. It's backwards. Soothing lotion facial
yeah,
tissue.
but did you still say a Kleenex? Yeah,
Correct.
So you tape
absolutely.
one of those to your face, and your face is soothed.
Actually, so when I'm going into a store to do shopping, I just wear this single ply 99-cent thing. And look at this. I'm protected from coronavirus.
That's it.
Nobody ever knew. This was the solution all along.
Yeah, and the article, I like the way that the editor put it there. It said, part of an effort to shift more customers to ongoing payment plans that provide a smooth revenue stream.
Well, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the thing though. People at home, especially parents, are not going to spend $7 a month for their kids
Right.
to to use Word. I mean, is Microsoft out of their mind? When they can sign up for if they, let's say they don't have Google Classroom, they can sign up for a free Gmail account
Mm-hmm.
and get access to all of those. Now, to be fair, there's two different things. So if you're a power user, Word
Then,
and Excel do some things better. But if
sure.
you're a formula person, Google Sheets has come leaps and bounds over Word because you can pull in live data,
And not
and
only
Excel doesn't really do that very well.
that, the fact that Google is creating a standard. You don't want your kid to use a piece of software that may not be compatible. I don't know how compatible they are, but she said, no, you go and be like everybody else. You want them to feel comfortable with it, and their friends are using it, and that's what they go with. Yeah. But I was going to say, I'm wondering what is missing in it. If there's anything missing, I'm sure it doesn't have access, but uh, it has to have Word, Excel, PowerPoint, maybe. Uh,
Um,
and people that use it, use Office will have to make the decision. If you're using it and you're paying for the software $200-300 or for 365 so much a month, and you can save money by going into this. And hey, yeah, do it.
Well, and the other thing too, not outside of just saving money, is using, and we've talked about this, everybody, and I'm guilty of this as well, and so are all of you and everybody else. If we don't like something, we say, oh, it's not a good service.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you've got to use something that fits your ecosystem.
Right.
So if you're a 9-year-old and and everybody's using Google
Yeah.
Classroom and
Mhm.
Sheets and Google Docs and everything else, it doesn't matter if Microsoft can offer, even
Right.
if they'll offer it for free, it doesn't matter because it doesn't fit the ecosystem.
Right. Exactly.
So that's kind of the thing I don't understand with that, is that I get what Microsoft's trying to do, but they're competing with a service. The students don't pay for Google Classroom, the school district does.
Mhm.
So to the end user, there is no cost to Google Classroom, which is how it should be.
Right.
And yet Microsoft's trying to sell a $7 subscription to Word to a 6-year-old. I mean, that doesn't make any sense.
No, it does not.
But they're not selling it to the 6-year-old. That's the thing, right? They're selling it to the parent who works with Word at the office
Okay.
via the kid.
Okay. I didn't think about that. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Well, Gal, you've got a child, a son that's in school.
Well, he's in college and they're using a lot of Microsoft stuff. They're using, right now is the move to everything online.
Yeah.
Teams is heavily used.
What
Zoom
if
is heavily used.
what if your son said, not if he said I need, because that's a different story, but what if
Right.
what if he said, hey, did you know that Microsoft's got this $9 product?
I would
Would
laugh at him and say, "Good for Microsoft," and
yeah, and
leave
you'd
it
say
at that.
go download LibreOffice.
Yeah, you
And
could.
yeah, I would. I would. They have definitely learned in high school on how to use Google.
Yeah.
They they submitted work using Google Docs. The teachers will check the revision history to make sure that the document was submitted at the right time, etc. So the teachers found a way of making Google work for them, because as a service that's that provided everything. Um, but today with Teams starting to, I wonder what will happen. So Google got the seems like they got middle school, they got high schools, but it doesn't seem like they got the colleges, at least not the community college.
They have not.
Yeah,
Google's got K through 12 on lockdown.
right,
And I went to a community college as well, and all of our stuff was Microsoft. And the reason it's all Microsoft, in my opinion, is because you've got statistically probably older IT departments. And because these are older IT departments, these people
That's what they know.
know Word. Yeah. And,
Yeah.
and the price is comparable enough to, and by the way, they're all running Exchange for their email and everything. So it makes a lot of sense. Or they all were running on-prem Exchange. So at one point they switched from on-prem
365.
Exchange to 365, and you just follow the train from there. You don't switch
Right.
from on-prem Exchange to G Suite. I mean, maybe you do, but most people don't.
Right.
Um,
It's a hassle. It requires a lot of
There's a learning curve.
change.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a learning curve for the IT.
yeah, there's no program. I mean, you go from all your users, and faculty can range in age from 23-year-olds to 70-year-olds on a college campus, 80-year-olds. You go from everybody knowing how to use software like Outlook to, okay, now go ahead and now we're going to, move, now you're going to use Gmail. There's no program. So
Right.
it makes sense on the college system. K through 12, though, there was no technology embraced at all. I mean, I graduated in 2015, I think. But even through middle school, late elementary school, and early middle school, there was hardly any technology used. There was no technology used at all. None of our stuff was on. Not until I got to high school. maybe it was middle school or high school when they started doing things online.
When I was in high school, we had a teletype.
When I
Literally.
was in high school, I had an iPhone and a laptop.
Teletype with an acoustic coupler. You dial the local pop, you'd plug the handset into it, and you'd play Star Trek literally by typing in commands, and it would go. And you go.
What year did you graduate high school,
really,
Spence?
Microsoft was really good at was when they bought Skype and we had to compete against them. We had to go through mandatory. All of us who were communication specialists had to go through mandatory training on Microsoft's licensing offerings and bulk offerings. They were masters at keeping people locked in because they would give you a deal, you'd pay over a certain period of time, all these seats would be included. And then when you're up for renegotiation, they'd come in early, they'd give you a sweet deal, you'd sign up, and they would just keep renewing. It was fabulous from a sales perspective. It was really hard to break that cycle. So I think the cycle's been broken, and that's what they're panicking about. Plus, there are silos within the company, the office division, and other divisions within Microsoft, the cloud division. They still are silos, and they still haven't gotten to the point where they communicate directly. It's kind of the way IBM has always been too, where you had product silos coming out of different divisions that competed with each other. Yeah.
I don't think 365 is competing with the on-prem because they are utilizing the same piece of software.
They are now. They are now. What I was saying is why they had so many people locked in for so long was because of the way they, that had nothing to do with them competing internally, but it was, you dealt with different people at Microsoft for different products. Now they have a common sales force coming in to sell you everything.
I see what you mean.
Before it was, you talk to one group that, all right, we're the office people, and you talk to another group, yeah, we're the operating system people, and then you talk to another group that did something else. So they've improved that, but they're still losing. I think they're probably not growing market share as fast as they would like. I don't know if they're actually losing it.
Well, no, I don't think they're losing it. I just think I'm not necessarily sure that they're losing it. I think you're seeing, for example, in the business world, almost I would say 95% of our customers are on Office 365. We've got a few customers that are on G Suite. We've had customers that have tried switching to G Suite, and it's just too much. So they've got the business world, I think, pretty well locked down. I have not seen many places where G apps is commonplace in business. They're almost all Microsoft houses.
I think a subscription service for a business is a really good idea. Just as a management tool, as to defraying the cost over time, you're automatically upgraded. You don't have to worry about, well, I have all these people on Office 2012. I need to bring them all forward. No, 365, you don't have that big outlay. You spend the money over time.
Well, how about when when the internet goes out at your office and nobody can access their email remotely because your on-prem Exchange server's down?
I'm supposed to talk about that.
Like, I mean, there's, and it's expensive. Yeah. One of our customers has got, or excuse me, one of the customers that we just migrated they've got a whole bunch of remote employees. They have over 600 365 subscriptions. It's 365 E3 subscriptions. I mean, they're shelling out a fortune for it, but there's no on-prem hardware. There's no in-house IT people to keep your Exchange servers up and running. Their domain is running on Azure Active Directory in the cloud. The cost that you can save by not having $100,000 or plus more IT person in-house, you can spend and send it directly to Microsoft. And the end user, you don't have to deal with the BS.
Yeah, but I can argue that.
You can. Okay.
If you have 600 people in your organization, you have an IT department.
You don't.
You have a big.
You have us.
Okay.
Because you're not maintaining and managing servers. You're dealing with endpoints.
Okay. All right.
And the cost of having on-staff people and the whole adding extra people to manage it. Well, if you can outsource it, that's what I mean. IT managers, what they're all about: good service and cost less. Right. So that's the main drivers for IT. Give us the service we need and make it reliable and make it cost less. So you got these people that renegotiate every year with their provider, their service provider. Give me more for less money. And they get it because there's so many people competing. So it's really to have it in house when you can put it outside and get really good service is
Yeah, yeah,
compelling.
no, that makes sense. I didn't think about that. You're right.
It always reminds me the the discussion people have versus buying the car or leasing it,
Yeah.
right? It's
Yeah.
exactly the same conversation all over time, and eventually um, the cost of usage is usually higher when you lease or rent, or but there's a lot of hassle that just goes out the window, and people are willing to pay that premium. People, organizations, etc.
Well, I'll tell you the biggest thing as well. Gal, I don't know how much you deal with Microsoft. They don't even sell you on-prem exchange anymore.
I
Like
know.
if you so that's the big thing is if Amnon, if you said, "Hey, I've got a new company, we've got 200 users."
We want
If
to
you
run
went to
our own.
Microsoft today,
Mhm.
they would not sell you an exchange license. They don't offer it. It's not something they offer. You have to the only way you can upgrade your version of on-prem exchange is to already be a large organization that has it. And the cost is astronomical. It's tens of thousands of dollars to do an on-prem exchange upgrade. Or you can spend $7.99 a month per user.
Yeah, makes sense.
It does. And I think for the end user, they're getting a better experience, in my opinion. Because as you said, there's no, oh, my version of Office isn't up to date anymore. And guess what? Every time that so you've got a company where you've got you know, four different offices, right? Somebody moves from one office to another. You don't have to deactivate Word on their computer, put the product key on the new system. They just log on to the new computer, go in there, log into their Office 365 account, and boom, they've got a fully licensed version of Office. There's a lot of benefits for the end user.
Keep talking. I'm checking to see about a home.
Okay. Um, yeah. They don't have to deal with that. So I think I mean Microsoft is winning. I would say, Gal, you deal with the tech space. Do you think you benefit from this, or would it be, or do you benefit from the older model? Buy it once.
Well, it really depends. I mean, where I look at software personally, I try to own it once,
Of course.
or learn a lot about it and get open source. But there's a lot, but that's me personally. An organizations that commit to open source software, they get benefits from open source software, but it requires a really highly capable IT team, because there's a lot of learning all the time. There's a lot of self-serving solutions. You do not rely on support. You do not rely on external resources. Um, so that's why people say, let's say, running a Linux server compared to a Microsoft server, the ROI is pretty much the same, because you need highly skilled people and you need to pay them in order to run that. So for me personally, right, I the only person I pay is myself via my salary, right? So I prefer that on personal. So VPNs, external resources that I must pay for, right? I try to find the best solution that will cost me at least it cost me once instead of a subscription. But the world is moving to subscription model, and there's no way around that.
Yeah, and now you can buy like for example, I've got a license for I've got Office 2019 and it's a standalone license. So you don't have to buy it, but I don't have
No,
email. It's just a standalone license. It's Office Professional Plus 2019. And you can
right.
purchase that directly from Microsoft. They don't want
Yeah.
to sell it. Actually, I think you
Pro
buy it in Staples and whatnot too.
well, Pro Plus, isn't that the bulk subscriptions? It used to be that Pro
Oh, sure.
Plus, the
It
plus
might
part
be.
of it meant that it was a subscription, like a company would buy bulk licenses and they would hand them out as needed.
That might be it.
Yeah, I remember because I still have a couple of discs with Pro Plus on them. And the last time I tried to install one, it said the maximum number of subscriptions has been used. So I couldn't use it. I couldn't load it
Yeah,
anymore.
you click activate by phone, and there's
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
pretty handy pretty handy
Yeah.
solution around that. Um, but so I mean, they do offer it, but they they make it so that it doesn't make sense to buy. If you were a
Today,
business,
less and less. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, if you were a business and said, I've got 200 users that need emails and copies of Office, you'd spend tens of thousands of dollars getting, first of all, the Windows Server licenses, then the Exchange licenses, then the 2018 or 2016 versions of Office for all those users. Doesn't make sense. You're not going to drop 30 grand off the bat plus an IT staff when you could spend $9 a month per user. It just doesn't make sense.
I mean,
It's also
eventually that's what happens. Yeah.
the
Yeah, it's
psychological part
absolutely
of it.
psychological, and that's how selling. I mean, as Gal brought up, the leasing a car versus buying one. It's all psychological.
Yeah. It's totally psychological. But it also, so the cost is higher for the consumer end, but the benefit is that you got a company that has a very steady revenue stream. And so they keep working, they keep changing, they keep moving, they keep, and that's what I find really, really, really strange. That business usually hates change, and when you subscribe, you are forced to run through the upgrade stream on time, right? Otherwise, you'll be left behind, and then you're gonna have trouble. You're gonna have issues. Your IT team is gonna open tons of tickets with my company if you don't keep on this steady change, right? So that's the psychological part that I find that somehow they still manage to sell, right? And like nobody's talking about that, but compared to if I ran my own exchange on perm, as long as I'm keeping it, just running and not failing, the world doesn't care that I run, I don't know, an exchange 2013, right? I keep it behind my firewalls, I keep it behind, I have all of my solutions. I can still run the old version and it'll continue to run. But when you move to the subscription model and especially to the service subscription model, you're done for. If you do not upgrade your clients every time there's an upgrade, they won't be able to get email.
To
So
that
there's
point,
this. What do you mean that the point? What's
to
that
that
point?
point that if you don't upgrade it, you will not get
I mean,
your.
not today, and you still get backward compatibilities, but eventually that will
Yeah,
happen,
okay,
right?
okay.
That's what
Eventually.
I'm saying,
Yeah.
right? I mean, at least with Google's model where everything is inside a web browser, it makes sense. When you're running local software, I don't know, it doesn't add up. And somehow local software as a service is being sold. It's being sold everywhere, not just Microsoft, right?
Hmm.
So I don't know.
What
I'm old school, probably. That's my problem. Getting too old.
what do you use at work, Gal?
We use Microsoft.
365 or local?
No, they moved to 365. I think 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
From on-prem?
Yeah, it used to be on-prem. Then they bought 365, um, and it was mostly there for I think they introduced Teams at that time. Uh, the first thing they migrated was the SharePoint content from on-prem, but eventually they moved Exchange. And I was surprised because I remember I know the IT team and the VP uh, of services and all of that, and I was surprised because they were always against the idea of not controlling the data. Right? We're a security software company, and it's like
I,
eventually they made the leap.
I wonder if there wasn't a really powerful accounting um, push to change over, because that's who Microsoft goes to now, as they go to the bean counters and say, well, normally you'd amortize your purchase over so many years. You'd buy something and you'd basically write it off. Now you have a yearly write off instead of a over. It might make a difference on the bottom line. Better predictability about what your costs are going to be over time. You be reassured that it's not going to go up more than so much percent per year. And there are probably big links to the financial side
Oh, I'm
for
sure.
forcing IT to look at it.
That's an
I'm
interesting
sure.
idea.
I'm
I didn't
sure
think
they're
about
part of the
write-offs.
conversation.
Yeah. Well,
Well,
I'm going to have to get myself a 365 license, just because all of my customers now have 365, and just for me to stay on top of it. Plus, they all use Teams, or if they haven't, they're looking at it, and I need to have it myself.
Well, I can tell you, Teams is hands down the best tool they have right now, but it's far from perfect, right? So, and it is so complex that Teams is a front end for SharePoint, first of all.
Yep.
Yeah, right? This is very important to understand. Teams is just a front end for SharePoint. In the back end, everything is SharePoint. Every channel, every group, every chat is basically a SharePoint site. And Teams is like this elaborate front end that plays with all of the permissions and all of the content that you can assign to it. And and apparently SharePoint is okay in doing it. It works. It's pretty good. I prefer it on Skype for Business, for example, for inner communication. Right, the moment they introduced that, but it's for an organization to have that in their organization, it can be a mess to manage and make sure nothing is breaking, nothing is, and most of all, nothing is leaving the company without you wanting it to. And so it's a very interesting platform. I'm personally I'm getting more invested and more invested in it because it's I find it helps workflow with groups, but it's
We
you
just
you
moved.
you're talking about the faculty member that was working for 20 years and uh, now they changed the email software on him. This one is like a shift in a whole new direction. So, you were saying?
We just switched from Slack to Teams this past week. Awful.
From what?
Slack?
Mm, it's
Oh,
not that awful. I think you have a lot of differences, but
Yeah.
once you mitigate those, then it'll be the same
Like
process, the same.
notifications don't come in like they should all the time. It's just frustrating.
Really? I
Yep.
didn't find that was never an issue. By the way I use Teams right now, especially with the work from home, is I use Teams on my browser at home. On my work laptop, I run the application, and and I have a copy on my mobile phone. And I cannot. It works better than most solutions that I've worked with inside the corporation. So I'm not complaining.
Just got to
well,
get used to it. That's all.
And I mean,
yeah.
Slack is great, but Slack doesn't have a document, doesn't have
Correct.
a spreadsheet, right? Doesn't have all of those solutions baked in, and here it does. So
Yeah.
You,
Well,
you,
and I mean, and that's that's part of it. The reason we moved from Slack to Teams was, well, it's kind of uncertain times right now, and spending $6 per person for Slack subscriptions when we already have Office 365 doesn't make business sense. So
Right. Right.
save the company a couple hundred, a couple
you
close
want
to $1,000 a year.
Mhm.
you want to talk about the shock in switching email. I had a I have a customer that for years and years and years been using Eudora.
Okay.
And last year they switched to Office 365.
Oh, that's a shock.
And it was, I mean, it was a nightmare for them. I mean, I was getting calls all the time. I said, you just need to ask the people that told you to do it. I mean, you're paying
What
for the support. Don't come to me.
what was their back end with Eudora?
Me.
And just still the back end for Office 365?
No, no,
I wouldn't think so.
no. I mean,
Yeah.
but I mean, you go 365, you go with Microsoft, Outlook, whatever they call it.
Oh, you could use Outlook for any mail service, but
Yeah.
doesn't.
But
It's
no,
not.
no, they wanted to be able to be in the cloud completely. But it
Yeah,
was
and
it
that's great because when what you don't have to deal with is um, remote.yourdomain.com to access your email out of the office and having a $300 SSL cert every year for it. There are benefits of all that
yeah.
until Microsoft forgets to renew their SSL cert and Teams breaks across the entire
Yeah.
world. But I mean, outside of that, it works pretty
Yeah,
well.
we never. My last corporate experience, we never got that far. We were VPN based, so we
Gotcha.
just had to have. But we did have a VPN appliance. It was not a. It wasn't VPN on the PC itself. That was good because we had IP phones, so we had our own little corporate LAN in the house. What was the router we used? I'm trying to remember now.
Tell you what, I've been very thankful with all this stuff going on. Um, I've been very thankful that Microsoft makes Office 365 as easy as they do because I've got a bunch of users. Everybody's trying to work from home or is now working from home. And I need email on my iPad and all that stuff with Auto Discover and everything in the single sign on through 365. Incredibly seamless. Users don't have to go into the mail settings and punch in a custom URL with a port and all that. They can do single sign on directly through 365 with multi-factor authentication, and it's very simple.
I have a great support story for multi-factor authentication. I have a customer working from home who lives in a very rural area. And in order for them to authenticate, everything they use is cloud. It's all for accountants. But in order for them to authenticate so they can log in, they have DSL and their maximum download speed is like 2 to 3 meg. But their phone service just got whacked somehow. They used to have a Verizon repeater that ran over the DSL line to give them phone service, and somehow that failed. She's got to go out and walk to the front of her driveway all the way down like a half a mile down to the mailbox so she can log into her phone so she can do her two-factor authentication before she goes back in the house and get on her email.
Oh my God.
That's amazing. She's just struggling with this now because every time the system will time out and she'll have to re-authenticate. If she's not working constantly, she has to walk out to the where she gets a signal again. It's just amazing.
Can't
Yeah,
they
so that's
switch? Can't they switch to offline?
this
And you get a
particular
you just get a
system.
dongle.
Everything is in the cloud, and
No, that's
they're
okay. But the two-factor authentication can be time
she,
based.
she didn't say that that was possible. I was trying to come up with a way. What she was asking me was, what do I say to? I think the provider's AT&T, and she's on DSL, and Verizon was the carrier that was providing the local repeater, and the repeater stopped working. So Verizon said it's an AT&T problem. So she said, what do I need to say to AT&T to get them to come out and actually fix it? So I went through a whole. I said, you can't accuse them of anything. You can't make it sound like you're, vindictive. You have to work with them and basically help them save face. That's just the way it works. So I gave her some suggestions on what to ask for and how to approach them and to say, I really, just a way of trying to get them to work together without
Yeah.
creating a pissing contest. So it's kind of
All right.
interesting.
Are you ready for specials?
I am. Let me just bring it up here. I actually have it open.
Yeah, I need to.
Hey,
Okay.
Spence,
Yes.
before you start, can you, for a second, just mute your Zoom for a second?
The whole thing or just my audio?
The mute
The
the audio
audio
in
on
Zoom.
the bottom left of Zoom.
Now I'm back.
Yep.
What? Yep. What?
There's a hum coming out from your setup
Oh,
microphone.
I know what it is. It's the dryer down the hall.
Could be.
Yeah. All right. Let me close the door. Hold on.
He's serious.
Is that better?
Much better.
It was a dryer down the hall. Now
Okay.
I can back up from the microphone and the sound goes away. But there's a dryer 25 feet away.
Yeah,
and
the
you can-
vibration. Yeah.
Weird.
Okay.
Okay. So why are we here anyway?
Ta-da!
All right. So I've got some. I thought I'd include today some pictures of very interesting face masks. My favorite is the Norton antivirus one. and,
Ah,
and these aren't even the worst ones. There were some really bizarre ones. Let me tell you.
somebody
Um,
went the extra mile with the car.
I
Yeah.
tell you. But yeah, the problem is if that doesn't let air through, the car's going to overheat.
Big time. Look how it's
Realize.
sucking it in.
Yeah. Well. Oh well. But
The
I
garbage.
couldn't find the one with somebody who cut the melon in half and had each person had half of a melon tied to their face. I couldn't find that one. That was a pretty good one. All right. So we do have um, all the vendors today were kind of limited in what they had out there. On the laptop side, very few deals on lower cost laptops, most of them being sold out because of everybody working from home. Nobody wants to spend $800 on a laptop for something they're not going to continue, maybe not going to continue to do, or IT departments are just not paying for high-end machines. But we do have some deals out there. Apple, this is Staples, Apple earbuds, and this is true at all the different vendors. 139 for the basic earbuds. The pro ones, I think, are still two something, but 139.20 off. They have a HP 15-inch laptop. This is an i5 for 599, which is 230 off. Seagate Backup Plus 2 terabyte USB 3.0 drive for $65. Now the 1 terabyte is only $5 less. So why buy the 1 terabyte when you can buy the 2 for 65
Right.
instead of 60? Supply chain has been whacked. I mean, a lot of things they're still ramping up. I guess the things coming out of China. So some things you just see some really weird pricing on. This next thing, what's wrong with this picture?
199.
199. Well, it's not 199.
Yeah.
It's the graphic because I clicked on it to say this can't be true, but in case it really is, I went and clicked on. Sure enough, the price comes up when you get into the
That's false advertising.
checkout. It's really $239, 200 whatever it is, a dollar. Yeah,
wait,
230.
what's the law? If I come with an advertisement that they've made, no, not this one, but like take it from there.
Yeah, there's something like that. But they have protections too, where they put a disclaimer in the ad to say that
Hmm.
we'd make our best effort to put real prices, and they figured out a way around it. But the it isn't 199. It's actually 230. So um, which is a sale. At Google Home Hub, smart home controller, 99 bucks, $30 off. If you're sitting at home now with a lot more devices and you want to save on Wi-Fi, get yourself a Ethernet switch. This is an unmanaged Netgear 16 port. I actually have this one, but not on a gig. I have it in a 10100. But 89 bucks, 20 off. I think TP-Link makes a similar one, metal case that's quite a bit cheaper,
Yeah.
but you probably don't need 16 ports. I think the largest one I'm actually using now is 6 ports. So yeah, 6 ports, gigabit switches. Okay, Epson Expression Home XP 4100 wireless inkjet printer for 59 bucks, save 40. Uh, Prices still very good on some single function color lasers. This is the Brother 3270 for 229, save 20 bucks. The prices I hope will continue to come down. And when you started working from home and you realized you didn't have a stapler at home, you can just go get one. It's actually on sale. It's normally $639 for $5.11, 20% off a stapler. Great
Yeah, but
line commercial.
it's not
Yeah.
red.
No, it's not. I know it's not red. It's too bad. I was told there'd be a stapler. I'd like to get my stapler back. All right, that's at Staples, and I forgot to put CompUSA at the. Oh, not CompUSA. Where did that come from? Office Depot at the top of this page because this last week I had scrubbed all this stuff out. All right, Office Depot, Office Max. We've got a Lenovo L40 laptop. This is an i3, so this is getting towards the low end. 379, 160 bucks off. Good work at home machine. TP-Link Archer C4000 MIMO tri-band router, 159. That's 40 off. This is a good router. This is a high end from a TP-Link perspective. Uh, Especially the Archer series, they're the more professional series. I have an Archer C7. Good routers. TP-Link. I didn't know they made a whole house mesh system for this price, 179. This is not a sale, but still the Deco M4 AC 1200. Not real high speed, but um, very good if you have want to build a distributed system in your house with mesh backbone. Okay. Also, we've talked about this before. If you have devices that don't have up-to-date Wi-Fi adapters, you can't take advantage of the AC standard. If you do need to add something to either a laptop or a desktop where you want to take advantage of AC, TP-Link AC 1300 dual band adapter for 29 bucks. That's 10 off. And here's a TP-Link 6-port gigabit Ethernet smart. It says smart switch. I don't know what's smart about it. Not managed, but $24, save 10. A clearance price on SanDisk Extreme Plus 64 gig micro SD card for 24 bucks. It's normally 59. That's a clearance item, so that's might not be out there. Got a Lenovo Idea Center i7 desktop for 699, which is 200 off. This was the cheapest monitor I could find anywhere today. On the three of Staples didn't have anything on sale. Best Buy had one on kind of mid to high ends on sale, but this is the cheapest one I could find, 109, 10 off, which is a Dell 22-inch HD monitor. And finally, at Office Depot, Office Max, HP Laser Pro wireless monochrome laser printer for $89, save 19 bucks. All right, and finally at Best Buy, we've got Apple iPad for $299. That's 30 bucks off. iWatch Series 5 for $379, which is $40 off, $50 off actually. They've got an Asus Imagine Book 14-inch laptop, Intel Core M2. Not familiar with the M2 processor. I didn't go to look up the specs on it, but 128 gig solid state drive, which is better than an EMC drive. 4 gig of memory for $299, save 200 bucks. So a good browsing machine. Western Digital Easy Store 12 gig external USB 3.0 for 249, save 30. Got a lot of kids at home. You may be bored out of your mind. You may all be trying to watch the same big screen TV and you want to have your own devices. Digiland 10.1-inch tablet, 32 gig for 69 bucks, save 30. If you've been wanting to upgrade that machine to a solid state drive, just put your OS on the solid state drive and put your apps on the other drive. Here's a chance for you to do that inexpensively, $89 for a 500 gig Samsung solid state drive, save 10. And this is the deal of the day at Best Buy, believe it or not. It is a non-electric self-cleaning nozzle universal bidet attachment for your toilet. It's the toilet paper killer. Actually, I've seen articles by people saying we need to eliminate toilet paper. Everybody needs to have a bidet. Okay, so is that going to be a new government program?
Well, I can tell you, once you have it, it
Oh, you
changes
love it.
your
No, I
life.
know. I know that. Actually have a customer who I installed a very elaborate custom add-on that was like a $500 device. It was incredible. So 39 bucks, save 20. And finally, I thought we'd appreciate these. These are all T-shirt ideas for social distancing. So this is my favorite one: non-essential employee of the month. So, and the other one here, it says, if you can read this, you're not social distancing. And that text was actually so small, you'd have to be like 6 inches away from the shirt to read it. So it's only going to work with people you're close to, because people far away could never read it. Oh, well, that's it for specials for today. What is today? April 12th. Just about halfway through the lockdown in North Carolina, anyway.
Yeah.
Yep.
And there's already talk of opening the country, right?
Yeah, well, I think one state is actually starting to open this coming week. I don't remember which one it was. There's certain things, it's going to be a phased rollout, but one state is actually talking about.
Yeah, that was
businesses
Iran says they're going to open up without any kind of
protection.
lockdown. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That's
Yeah.
right. Oh, well. That's why they've lost like 6 people in their ruling council already. Oh, well.
919-518-9773. Computers 2K Voice on Skype. See, Tommy was here, but he's gone. I figured he's gone. No, he's still here.
Oh, one.
Tommy Willis.
It's just an not off topic for what we were just talking about, but some encouraging things that I've been reading is that there are forensic virologists, if that's actually a real thing.
Can you say it 3 times?
Yes. No. Who believe that we may have had this a lot earlier than they think, or they originally thought. It didn't come mainly in January. That in some places in the country, California and New York areas specifically, I think it may have been there since November. And there's actually, well, no, not as a conspiracy. It's just because it was already out there, because there was 2 instances. There was a flu that was a non-flu, I should say. There was something happened in California in November, December last year, where a lot of people got this flu-like illness, and they were tested and it wasn't flu. And they really didn't know what it was. So they think that wouldn't be one of the reasons why California already seems to have a leg up as far as building the immunity in the community. And there was another anecdotal story from construction workers in New York. Apparently, among construction workers, especially at specific sites in November, a really bad upper respiratory thing went through that was not the flu. And people got real sick. And nobody died. From the one guy who I heard talk about this, was a construction foreman from New York, said, we had this thing go through everybody, they were working indoors, which was they were fitting out a building that had already been closed from the outside. It's got, a new office building.
Mhm.
They said everybody, couple of hundred guys, all got sick. And all went, when they went to the doctor, they said, this isn't the flu. We don't know what it is. And they couldn't identify it. So that was in November. So it's possible, which this will help. Maybe this will help get us past this and get to the herd immunity, which is normally so catastrophic and takes so long. So
Uh,
just throwing that out there.
um, John sent sent me an article, a friend of mine, about conspiracy, and it's a conspiracy. I mean, it's just, there's a lot of those things running around. Says that Beijing and Shanghai are so close to uh, what's the name of that city where it started? Wahoo? What?
Wuhan?
Huh?
Wuhan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And apparently, according to China, nobody there got infected, but it went all around the world, but not right there to their two biggest cities. Yeah, I mean, it's
Which biggest city?
uh
Beijing.
Beijing and,
Beijing got hit.
well,
They
I
got
mean,
hit. They got hit late, but they got hit.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know
There
how
was some
old that
other
I
is.
read I
weird.
read the conspiracy theory, and
Yeah,
every
it's
single fact in that conspiracy theory doesn't match up with
okay,
reality.
good.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
It's, I
Well,
mean, I looked
I
at it and I started laughing. I said, "Yeah,
yeah.
come on, who knows all this?"
what
Yeah,
was there was something about having a lot of cell phone subscriptions canceled
that's
that
in
now I don't know if that was even true. That could be a conspiracy theory, but they were wondering why millions of people dropped their cell phone subscriptions at one point. They were looking at the numbers from some telecom company to say total subscribers,
in
and the number
China.
went, yeah. So it was
No,
something that,
there's a thing going on now in the UK where people are blaming something on 5G, and they are
oh no, this
Oh
isn't
yeah, I
that.
heard
This is
that.
just this was where they monitor the things that they can monitor out of China
oh,
that are economic things that they look at. And this was early on before the all the craziness started back in probably was early January. They were looking at things like energy use in China. How much coal are they using every month? And the numbers were significantly down, like 20 to 30% less coal. And they said the reason why is because they're generating less power because factories are closed. So things like that. Pollution in certain cities got a lot better for a short period of time because they weren't generating as much power using the.
right,
So they look at things like that. They looked at one city, the largest populated city, and I don't know what it is, like 20 million people. I don't know what the name is. I can't remember. And they said they looked at how many apartments were sold every month. And the normal number and what was really happening was like dramatically less apartments are being sold. They said, well, why is that? What happened? Because the trend was up over time. It wasn't something that would just drop seasonally. So there were things like that that economists were looking at to say something's going on. We don't really understand it yet, but there were other evidences that would back up the idea that there was an outbreak. So
yeah. Nobody can deny it now.
no, no. But the
But
but the
it's
cell
it's
phone thing
it's
is
it's
interesting
it's
because
just,
they
yeah, it is.
they claimed there were a lot less subscribers, and they said, oh, it's because people moved or people fled the area and they had to get subscribed from somewhere else. It's like, I don't know about that. Why would they
Yeah.
leave their phones behind? It's like,
But Gal, when I was mentioning the UK and 5G, you started saying something.
5G. Yeah, I heard something about that. That was
Yeah, they
in
are they are um, damaging the cell towers. It's all because of a conspiracy theory that started, I think they said, on YouTube, and now YouTube is going to remove any videos or talk about that because that's what fueled it. Uh, People
Oh,
under
I
lockdown do weird things.
yeah. I don't even think I don't even think conspiracy theories should be censored. I do think they should be mocked. They should be
They should be
ridiculed.
they should be
But
categorized under comedy,
maybe,
and then we
yeah,
can laugh.
yeah. I don't
But
know.
you're right, Kyle. That stuff tends to police itself
Yeah,
because just to ban it makes people want to know more about it.
Yeah, but not.
exactly.
But wait. It doesn't police itself when they said so far 25 towers were bombed. They took bombed
In the United States?
in the UK.
No, in UK.
Yeah.
Well, hey,
That's not the policing itself. That's people going crazy.
well, the UK was criticized because on their 5G strategy, they decided to go with Chinese company. And I don't know if that's been revisited. I think it had. I think they talked about looking at that again, but they were going to go with, I don't know if it was Highway or I don't remember what a Chinese manufacturer of the 5G network. And it wasn't from a health perspective. It was from a spy perspective, that there were things built into the technology that would allow them, like the chips that came in some computers, right? That had a backdoor chip built
Mhm.
into the technology. They were worried about that. So,
Yeah.
but you know what? What does they say about a revolution is only 2 meals away? So you all you have to do is get people whipped up into a frenzy. One
Yep.
person by themselves would never take action, but when you get 10 people together saying,
Right.
yeah, it happens.
Yeah, and they
Because
all
they,
have
you know,
they all have captive audiences these days.
Yeah. Did you? Oh,
Right.
that's a great. I should have sent you the article I did post it on one of the forums I'm on. Is that there's a big uh, backlash happening in California now because people panicked and wanted to buy weapons,
Mhm.
big time, and they said uh, liberals in California all of a sudden now were interested in buying weapons, and they were appalled by the fact that they couldn't go into the gun store and walk out with a gun.
Mhm.
And they said, these are the laws that have been imposed. What do you mean 10? I have to wait 10 days? I need the gun now. And no, you have to wait 10 days. And for every purchase, you have to fill out the same paperwork. You can only buy one gun every 30 days. And you have to fill out the same paperwork and get a background check to purchase ammunition. And people were like losing their minds. What do you mean? And just the comment, cursing out the staff
Yeah.
at a gun store. What do you mean I have to? Oh, you can't make me do this. I said, yeah, it's the law. This is what we have to deal with. And they were
And
just going,
and yesterday on I think it was on the local news, or maybe it was Friday night. Something I didn't catch the whole thing, but something about that the administration is okaying drive-through gun purchases.
where?
I don't know. I mean, you see, I don't have all the details, so I don't know. I mean, I caught it kind of like, huh? What?
I
Drive
remember
through?
now Delaware has drive-through liquor stores.
Well,
You pull up to a window like a bank and I'd like, this, and they give it to you, hand it to you in the car. It's crazy.
anyway, listen to this. According to the Financial Times, U.S. senators have been advised not to use video conferencing platform Zoom over security concern. Now, hold on. According to 3 people briefed on the matter, the Senate Sergeant at Arms, whose job it is to run law enforcement and security on the Capitol, told senators to find alternative methods for remote working, although he did not implement an outright ban. You know that guy that's standing there, and we only see him, I think, the only time I see him is when he announced the president of the United States.
Ladies and gentlemen, the president
You know,
of the United
I mean,
States.
one person to come in, and he must have read some article somewhere.
I tell
Now,
you what the problem is. He is not listening to Computer 2K now.
That's it.
I'll tell you what. Yeah, but here's the thing. So don't use Zoom,
yeah,
but store your email on Google
yeah.
Yeah.
or use Google Hangouts.
I mean,
Come
really,
on.
it is just. We talked about it last week. It's becoming popular, so
Yeah, of
everybody's
course.
attacking it. That's all. Now, the Pentagon, on the other hand, told the Financial Times that it would continue to allow its staff to use the platform. A memo sent to
I
top
think they should.
Yeah. A memo sent to top cybersecurity officials from the Department of Homeland Security said that the company was being responsive when questioned about concerns over the security of its software. And that is a whole lot better than a company come and say, oh, our stuff is secure. When you respond to the government and you give them information and all that. That's in my book that holds a whole lot more. It's a lot more credit for them than anything else. I mean, again, as far as I'm concerned, I'm going to keep on using it. If the Chinese want to listen to us, all the more welcome. Anybody who wants to see this, hey, that's what we're trying to do to get more people to listen. So
We definitely don't want to talk about the fact how we have all these rods of God in orbit that we can drop on them at any moment, right, Ramon?
well, but the
Yeah,
thing is, again, it is something that started on the internet, and somehow this guy is decided he's going to. And don't what is that? Tell him to find alternative. If you're doing something, tell him what to use for as an alternative. You can't just tell him don't use it. Go find an alternative.
Google Hangouts.
He didn't tell him anything.
I'm just saying, what are the
Yeah,
alternatives? Google
yeah.
Hangouts and Skype.
Um,
Google and
uh,
Microsoft are fully embedded in
Teams.
China as well.
yeah, I don't
Teams.
think you can use
Teams, but Teams is Skype. It's the same difference.
Yeah, Teams, but not Skype. You can't use Skype for a group like to
Yes,
do
you can.
I
Yeah,
think
you can
today you
do.
can.
Yeah,
what?
you can. You can.
Skype does group video as well.
Well, then why is it that even the Computers 2K voice that I'm using right now, which I got originally because of the fact that you can have multiple people call in, there is no way to add somebody to the conference.
Oh, that's something else.
But that's Skype.
But you can.
Skype for Business
But
supports it
Skype for
Okay,
business
now
is
if I,
fine.
okay, Skype for business.
But
All
that's
right.
a different thing. Yeah.
because that's really a
No, I mean it used to be we could have 2, 3, 4, 5 people just calling. You add them to the conference. Add them.
Yeah, but that's not how you remote work. You don't
They
just have
yeah,
random people
no,
call
I
in.
understand. I'm saying you're telling me that you can use Skype for multiple.
You can. If you know the people that you want to talk to, you can use
Yeah.
Skype. Yeah.
You can use WhatsApp. You can use almost every platform today to do it.
You could use Discord.
Discord, I think, is the most elaborate system out there for communication right now.
100%.
And just because it's focused on gaming, a lot of people just don't know it. I recommend anybody who is interested in good communication tools, check out Discord. It's amazing.
I heard that Prodigy has a really good offering. I still have the disc.
AOL.
You
Yeah.
can also set up your Mumble server if you really want to.
Oh, Mumble's where it's at. Open source,
Yes.
baby.
Just
How many modem lines you have available, Amnon?
just keep using Zoom.
Operators are standing by
That's
Yeah.
right.
to patch your calls.
Yeah.
And-
Besides, Nick has invested in Zoom, so please keep.
Oh,
on
yeah.
using Zoom.
One of the
Sure.
controversies with Zoom is the founder who is now a U.S. citizen. Or no, I don't know if he's a citizen, but he's a legal immigrant of the United States. It took him 8 or 10 tries to get a visa, work permit to come to the United States.
Yeah, well,
But I don't know. Who
He's
knows
from
what that
China,
means?
right?
Maybe he spelled his name wrong. I don't. It could be any reason why.
No,
But
no, that's normal for
yeah,
Chinese citizens.
yeah.
Yeah.
So they made that sound like, oh, he should be suspicious because it took him that long to get a permit. Well, I said, well, at least he got one.
Uh, yeah. People from China and from India, they wait. The average waiting time is like 10 to 20 years. It is ridiculous.
It is.
Should have just gone to Mexico and
Well,
come in that way.
America is such a crappy country from what I've been told from the worldwide media. I don't know why anybody's trying to come here. Such a dump.
Yeah, I'm telling
Yeah.
you, since I
Horrible.
got here, it's just getting worse and worse.
Worse and worse and worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all these immigrants keep coming in.
Bastards.
Hey,
Especially these people from the
I
somewhat
came from immigrants.
got all these people speaking these weird languages, and I mean, it's just ridiculous.
מה אתה אומר?
Get out of here.
All right, now we're telecommuting and we are getting into a completely different way of doing things. The new normal telecommuting may be a bit more permanent than realized, as 74% of CFOs say they expect to move previously on-site employees remote remote post COVID-19. So this is according to Gartner survey. So they said that they had 317 CFOs respond on May 30th, highlighted how remote work may become more of the norm as companies look to cut commercial real estate costs. They found that almost a quarter of respondents say they will remove at least 20% of their on-site employees to remote work permanently. The research firm is taking the pulse of the COVID-19 CXO shift in a series of surveys. This was a great way for a lot of companies to find out, can we do it remotely? They never wanted to do it before. They were afraid to do it before. Now they may move slowly. I mean, they're going to start to working remotely. Now, this is great if you look at it like, okay, yeah, that they're gonna save money. But now think about it. What is it gonna do to commercial real estate?
Yeah, that's going to be a huge
Office
issue.
space.
Yeah, that's an issue.
What is it gonna do to our internet service at home? I mean, there's a lot of things that are all in
There's-
it.
But
This-
there's one thing that's completely missing from this equation.
Yeah.
Up until today, right, when people were talking about telecommuting and working from home, right,
Right.
the discussion was about whether it's even productive. And one of the things, so yeah, you cut cost on real estate maybe, but has productivity stayed the
Yeah.
same or has it declined? And that nobody's providing details. So I call bullshit on that. I say the moment it'll come back, the only companies that will send people to work from home are growing companies where they want to make sure that they do not go into additional real estate purchases immediately, especially after the decline in their profits,
Mhm.
right? But I doubt most of them are even able to measure efficiency of the workforce compared working from home and compared to other than income. And income has gone down, right? Almost across the board.
Yeah.
So it's a nice clickbait title. I don't think anything's going to change.
Well, we'll just the time will
I
tell.
think I've been more efficient at home.
I used to work in a cube, and when I started working from home, I got a lot more done because they didn't have people stop by. How you doing? What's happening? I mean, I missed the camaraderie. Don't get me wrong. And
Yeah.
the last place I worked had drop-in space because you could go if you wanted to have a group meeting or work from the office. You could, but I got far more work done at home with the nature of what I did. Now, it depends on what you do.
Of course.
If you're a collaborating team, it's much easier to be in a pod where you can all, throw things over the wall. But then when you have the guy next to you who's on constant conference calls with his speakerphone shouting, it gets to the point where you're like, I got to get out of here. So it all depends on your environment. But I think
What?
that I liked
Yeah.
it.
So I've noticed something just about myself. So um, we we normally take hour lunches. It's not like strictly mandated, but everybody takes an hour for lunch. I don't believe I've taken a single hour lunch since I've worked from home.
I used to work with the food on my desk.
That's
You
yeah,
just,
that's
yeah,
kind of what
you
I
get
do.
a
I don't really
sandwich and
yeah, that's
but
kind of what I do.
I also love the fact that if I did want to take a break and sit out in my yard,
You could.
I could.
Yeah.
So it was, but the thing I did miss was the social part of it to an extent
Likewise.
where I
Right,
just,
Yeah.
and that's why I'm saying I think that won't work long term. What will work will be actually more costly, probably real estate wise to the company, but is allow the people to work from home when they want or can, right? And that will allow them to do their chores without signing off PTO or something like that, right? And work from the office. So if you mandate, I don't know, 50% of the week you are in the office as a minimum, then you'll see people who prefer the office versus people who prefer home. They'll do the 50%. I think a mixture of that will work, but forcing either or, that will never work.
there was a lot of strides being made. And I think I mentioned this last week or the week before about the fully configurable virtual office pod at work where you'd come in and you'd log in and everything would become yours. The lights would be set the way you like them. The phone would be your
Mm,
phone. Everything would be configured for your environment. And you could take that anywhere you went in the company. It was great because they set up these special uh, office pods that had near field communications and all the stuff you needed. It was you just literally came in. In some cases, you didn't even have to bring your PC with you because you'd log in and have a high speed workstation that would virtually be your machine. So it was pretty cool. And the last version of it that I used, we actually had little fobs, little Wi-Fi RFID tags. You go in, you swipe it over the reader. Next thing you know, the office was configured for you, which was
The
great.
one the one thing to note though about all of this is, as Amnon was saying, we've been talking about, there are so many effects for both ways.
Right.
Right. So we just discussed office rent or commercial real estate. That's a huge factor. What about lunch? I mean, I used to eat out. I used to eat lunch out probably 3 or 4 days a week. Now I'm maybe doing it once. What about gas? I'm not. I mean, I haven't gotten gas in my car in almost a month
One
because I'm working
negative
from
side,
home.
one negative side to it is that when I moved home, or I shouldn't say when I moved home, but when I at one point they stopped paying for my uh, cable modem
Mm.
because now they said, well, everybody has it. You're just going to have it anyway. So you're just going to, you're, it's not like it's something unique we're buying just to have you work at home. Everybody's got it now. So we're not going to pay
Yeah,
for it.
back then it was a big deal.
Yeah.
I just
well,
there are so many other fringe elements of it taking even taking 10% of the global work or the United States workforce right now and shifting them home would have drastic effects on parts of our economy
Sure,
in places you don't realize it.
sure.
Fast food would be probably fast food and restaurants would probably be the biggest if I had to guess outside of commercial real estate.
All right. Listen to this one now. If you're in an area where Verizon Fios, and I thought this was just New York, but maybe there are other states. According to The Verge, Verizon is canceling scheduled appointments for internet installation and repairs, leaving Fios subscribers without wired internet at a time when they are likely relying on it for work and to see friends and family during the COVID-19 pandemic. So Spectrum is paying extra to their technicians to go out and do it. Verizon decided we're not going to do anything. So if you're in Fios and you have a problem with your internet that somebody needs to come out, you're up the creek without a paddle. That's not that can be really. I mean, can you imagine you working from home now? You can't. You're going to lose your job.
Well, I think that it would be a case to make to say that they couldn't fire you because suddenly your internet service provider didn't provide service anymore. I mean, what do you do?
I don't know.
Well, it was getting popular for a while. The virtual office providers where they have offices, and I know there's one popular one. I can't remember the name.
Yeah, there are different ones, but you can't.
Yeah, so you could go to a. You needed to have a meeting locally, and you would just have the office for the day, or the conference room and a couple of side rooms for the day, or you just go in if you needed to meet a customer, you'd meet them there because it would be. What is the one? There was one I used to hear it advertised on the radio all the time.
Regency space.
Regency. Yep, Regency.
Mhm.
And they would have, you would say, I only come in, we have meetings once a month and we have customer client meetings and you just go as needed.
Yep.
So that's something they could convert that abandoned real estate space into flex space.
Yeah, and that would absolutely be something that would pop up, more of that for sure.
Yep.
Oh.
All right, let's see what else here. This is again going back. As millions file for unemployment benefits in the United States every week, states' aging computer systems simply cannot keep up. States like New Jersey and Connecticut have said they are desperate for programmers who still familiar with COBOL,
Yeah,
Really?
read that.
a programming language that debuted in 1960 and is still used in critical computer systems like unemployment database and banks. But there aren't many who know COBOL programming anymore. IBM, the leading provider of mainframe typically used to compile and run COBOL code, is trying to help bridge that gap. On Friday, IBM announced it was launching a free training program to teach coders COBOL, as well as new forums to match those who know the language with those who need help maintaining their critical system. The COBOL course will teach coders how to use the language in Microsoft's popular VS Code software and will be available this week. Next month, IBM says it will release a more fully fledged video COBOL course on online learning platforms like Coursera. So if you want to learn how to use COBOL, I mean, it's not learn, it is learn, but you have to be a programmer already. There's a lot of demand for it now to update old COBOL systems. No comments in the chat. I know we have people.
I thought Y2K took care of all that.
Yeah.
That was 20 years ago, man. That was 20 years ago.
Think about all
A
those COBOL
lifetime.
programmers that made all that money racing to get it all changed, and then nothing happened.
Yep.
I just stumbled across something that
Yeah.
it's on YouTube now, but it's called Out of the Shadows. It's a
Okay.
video. It's a
What is it?
documentary. Well, here's how it was advertised. It said, "Out of the Shadows documentary lifts the mask on how the mainstream media and Hollywood manipulate the masses." Never heard of it. So apparently, it showed up on YouTube on the 10th.
Oh, so you didn't watch it?
I haven't watched it yet.
Oh,
No, but
oh,
I'm
oh,
just
okay.
saying. I
All right.
just saw it posted on one of the
Yeah.
forums I'm on. I was like, oh, I got to check this out. So I was worried
All right.
that it wouldn't still be there if it was that
Controversial.
controversial. YouTube would drop it. So but it's probably mirrored already, knowing the uh, people who want to keep this stuff up. There's other places they
Yep.
can put it where it'll stay. But I'll,
All
I'll
right.
post a link to it.
Something. I mean, we've got to talk about Apple and iOS. A sizable number of Mac users are experiencing occasional system crashes after updating to macOS Catalina 10.15.4, 10.15.4, released a few weeks ago. The crashing issues appear to be most prominent when users attempt to make large file transfers. They're talking about like 30 gig, 20 gig, things like that. In a forum post, Softrade described the issue as a bug and said that it is working with Apple engineers to fix it for Mac OS 10.15.5 or a workaround. So there is no workaround now, but they're trying to work on it. Softrade said the issue extends to Apple formatted disks. There is a serious issue with 10.15.4. It shows up in different scenarios, even on Apple disks, but it is more likely when there are lots of I/O threads. So let's not get into the nitty gritty here. If you do any of that and you see that your Mac is crashing when you are transferring big files, it's not your fault. It is some bug with the OS, uh, and it will be fixed sooner or later. Let's put it this way. And Gal, listen to that. We're talking about subscriptions and stuff.
hmm
Ahead of last November's launch of the Apple TV Plus video streaming service, Apple seemed to be doing nearly everything it could to widen the base of early viewers. It gave away a free year of service with any new purchased iPhone, iPad, Mac, iPod, or Apple TV. Then added free access to student Apple Music subscriptions, collectively guaranteeing itself millions of unpaid users. But that apparently wasn't enough. Starting last week, the company will offer free access. They don't say for how long. To 7 complete TV Plus series to almost any person with an Apple ID. So if you have an Apple ID, you can get free access to 7 complete TV Plus series. Streaming. Isn't that nice? Isn't that special? Yeah.
Well, just take advantage. That's all I have to say.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you should take advantage. Absolutely. I agree.
Yeah.
Um and I was talking, last week I was asking you, since getting to the end of the show here, about how to do the streaming, actually do it. And we were talking about Plex and what was it, Nick? Home run.
HD home run.
Yeah, HD home run.
I was talking with Brian with an I this week. And and Brian was saying that he was using it, but now he switched to the Amazon Cube because it is more uh, seamless with Plex than the other one. What's the other one? The home run, the name of it?
No, well, no.
No, no, no.
Two,
Yeah.
two different things. The
Okay.
Amazon is the end device that you use on your TV.
Well,
The home
that's
run is
what he
the
was.
HD tuner.
Well, he was saying that's what. I thought that's what he said he was.
That's not what he was saying. There's the now.
He's
So even with the HD home run, I think Nick, you have one, right?
I don't, but I know people that do.
Yeah. So even with that HD home run, that's a tuner. That basically does what the TV does when it connects to an antenna.
Okay.
The HD home run provides the ability of getting an RF feed and turning it into a video feed.
Oh, okay. That's
Okay.
right. Now he said that he's not watching local TV. That's why he didn't. That's right.
Oh,
Right, but
Okay.
he's done that for his parents. So his
Yeah.
parents have a HD
Right.
home run and a
Yeah.
Plexer.
He gave it to his
Yeah.
dad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, Gal, I need to talk to you a little bit more about it so you can come and help me with that
Oh yeah,
when the
sure.
time comes. But we need to do it like a series and show people how to do it step by
Oh,
step.
can I record it?
Huh?
I'll record it. I'll be the
Well,
document
because a lot of people
documentarian.
want
It's
to
going to
do
be
it.
like the Joe Exotic films behind the scenes.
A lot of people want to do it, and they it's easy. I mean, even me, I don't know where to start. It's kind of
So it's
First,
surprisingly easy.
yeah, you
okay.
take your
Well,
TV.
that's fine.
Ridiculously easy.
That's fine.
So you
Well,
take first thing you do is you take your TV, you
and
throw
you
it
throw it out the window.
You say, I'm done with you. And you go to a big box store and buy a new TV.
No,
That's
you
the-
can't do
that's the
that.
first
You
step.
can't do that because Spectrum will still charge you for TV unless you cancel
Just
it.
give them a bad credit card or
Yeah.
write them a bad check. You
Yeah.
can't. There's definitely check fraud's definitely not illegal. Just don't worry about it.
But yeah, that's
I'm a sovereign citizen. You can't require me to pay this bill that I signed up for. But it is really simple, and the cost is
there is a cost, but it's
the
okay.
setup cost. Yeah, the
Yeah.
setup cost
Yeah.
is higher, but
Yeah.
the long term cost is if
Much
you're not
lower.
outside of the services that you're already paying for, like Netflix or Hulu or Amazon, the cost is almost non-existent. It's power to keep the services
Right.
online.
Right.
But that's up to you as the end user.
Yep. Yes, sir. All right. It's that time of day. Is there anything else anybody wants to talk about? Come on.
Not that I can think of.
I need people to come over and help me sand my truck.
Nick, you were going to say?
Tomorrow, Monday, for the folks watching across the state of North Carolina, keep your eye to the sky. Looks like we could have some pretty severe storms tomorrow. So,
Yes.
keep that in
Yeah,
mind.
they're looking at some. It's amazing how they can forecast this, but
So
it's looking pretty
keep-
bad for tomorrow.
and keep the folks in the Dixie Alley in your prayers today. Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi are gonna get absolutely hammered today. So
Yeah. And it's going to be at night.
no, it's gonna be during the day.
Oh, no. For us, I thought to say Sunday night into Monday morning.
It'll start around daybreak.
My garage isn't big enough. I can get one car in there. The other car, I'm probably going to put a tarp on it.
Yeah.
Because I just went through having both cars fixed for hail damage.
Yeah.
So that is all. Happy
All right.
Easter. Happy Passover.
Happy Passover. Happy Easter. Go eat eggs. I mean, Nick has a bunch of them. Like he said, he was. Never mind.
I'm playing what's it called, method acting, when these characters put themselves in the role, like you're playing like an army role, so you constantly are dressed up in army stuff and you live the life. That's what I've been doing as the Easter Bunny for the past month.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Right.
wow.
So Stolen Valor Easter version?
Well, it's not stolen valor for acting in a movie. They're not going to Chick-fil-A to get a 99-cent sweet. But yeah, I've been added to a couple lists. The police have visited me with my Easter costume, but it's all right.
All right, quick, before we go, everybody recommend a good show to binge watch.
Joe, the Tiger King.
I heard. I haven't done it yet. I'm probably going to check it out.
You should.
Yeah. Amnon?
Right.
A show to binge watch.
That's what I meant.
Oh, you're
What?
asking me, right? Yeah.
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 He doesn't do that.
No,
Yeah.
I don't. No,
Gal?
I don't.
If you haven't watched any of the new ones. Better Call Saul is absolutely phenomenal.
I'm saving it. I'm saving it. I'm
Oh,
up to date up until the recent stuff came out.
oh
I've been
yeah.
waiting for that to come around, and I'm ready. Yeah.
Oh man, this season is absolutely great.
Oh, good.
And what else? Picard was great, and they're doing a second season soon. So if you can watch that, that's really recommended. What else? What else? I don't know.
That's
Everything's
good.
good right now. Yeah.
It's on
Westworld
HBO.
is Westworld. HBO is back. It seems okay. So
I I recommend if you're into to l- law enforcement documentaries, check out McMillions. It's the story about how the McDonald's Monopoly game was compromised, and that they wondered how people were getting the tickets to win. I won't
oh
say
okay.
anything. I won't say anything more than that. But it is. I'm watching it on HBO, so I don't know if it's available anywhere else. But it's called
It's free.
McMillions.
HBO's free, I think now.
Is it?
I think
That'd be
so.
great.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Cool.
Okay, guys. Well,
Cool
again,
way go.
thanks, Nick, Spence. Have a happy Easter and happy Passover. And good morning to Kathy, Hannah, Nabil, Mac, Norm, Katie, and Donna for another 7 days. Dina, thanks everybody for tuning to Computers 2K Now. We hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something from our time together. Remember to practice safe computing, back up your hard drive, and update your virus scanner. We'll be back here next Sunday at 9, but you can always reach us at computers2know.com. Tonight at 7, yes, Nick?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes, tonight at 7, Nick hosts Against the Norm. You can watch it at www.atnshow, Against the Norm show, atnshow.com. And if you're in Wilmington, you can listen to Big Talker 106.7 FM and catch it in your car. See you next week, everybody.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by Telestream's Wirecast software, StreamingGear.com, Carolina Apparel, and DeltaForce.net.